All right, good morning everybody and welcome to Tuesday Talk. Thank you for being here. So both of my guest speakers are not here. So that's all right, I came prepared and I've brought some information myself. So Joanna Guzik is going to be joining us next week. She was our community spotlight presenter this morning, and she was going to be talking about the vocal cords. So please be sure to join us next Tuesday and hear Joanna's update. And then I also was going to have Eliza Weatherholtz here. Eliza is our Regional Director of Sales and Marketing, responsible for our assisted living and skilled nursing. And she was going to give us an update about what's happening with skilled nursing and marketing in this marketplace. So she may show up, and if she does, we'll recognize her and get her up here and let her do her thing. But we'll go ahead and get started. I wanted to start this morning with talking about Touchtown. And Touchtown is the movie TV presentation tool that we utilize to bring you the in-house TV on 732, and more importantly, it is also the tool we use to show movies and Tuesday Talk, and if we are recording the Roro Quarterly meeting or the forum, all of that is brought to you through the services of Touchtown. You may have noticed that we have not had movies or Tuesday Talk presentations for quite a few weeks. It is available still on YouTube, and there is a link that we have published and will continue to publish in Tuesday Talk. But I wanted to give you an update on what's happening with Touchtown. I know we're all sort of used to Regency Oaks outdated technology, but I am very pleased to report that this time it's not us. Touchtown is a nationwide company, and as part of their service, they have a subcontractor, D-E-N-O-N, Denon, and Denon is the provider of their video recorder, their DVD player, that shows everything through the Touchtown platform. And they have been down for 4 weeks, Tiffany, about 4 weeks, and we have been in constant contact with them. They do not have a date as to when they're going to be back online. We don't know what happened. I have a suspicion, there's a lot of hacking that's going on across the country. You've seen it in our oil supply chain, our food supply chain, but for whatever reason, there is a glitch in this contractor's upload to Touchtown that is impacting our ability to show movies or pre-recorded events. It's not just Regency Oaks. It's every single community across the country. It's all of our support communities are all experiencing the same thing, and it's related to this breakdown of this third-party contractual relationship that supports Touchtown. So here's the message that we keep getting from the provider is that we're aware of it. That's good to know, and that we're working on it, and that they will have a resolution. Anyone want to guess? Soon. So I know it's an inconvenience. I apologize for that, but this is truly something that is out of Tiffany's control. It's a nationwide problem. It also would not surprise me to find that they know what the solution is, but they can't get the parts to repair it. There are significant manufacturing delays out there that are impacting the supply chain. We're experiencing it here at Regency Oaks in getting parts for things that are broken and they're just not available. We sometimes forget that we are very fortunate to live in the state of Florida, where we're completely open and business is back to normal, but that's not true across the country. Many of the other states are just beginning to come out of COVID, and so manufacturers in Montana, who may be producing parts that we utilize every day, they're still dealing with COVID restrictions. Their associates are not back at work. And so manufacturing is lagging, and we're beginning to see it on the supply side. So I just wanted to let you know that we understand that Touchtown is not available right now, and our ability to project those movies is impacted, but people are working on it. There will be a resolution. I just hope soon is soon, as opposed to weeks or months away. Okay. Eliza, come on up here. So Eliza walked in, and she is one of our guest speakers this morning. Eliza is, hold on, we lost all microphones here.
How you doing, Brad?
So Eliza, is that working?
Is it on?
Yes, okay. So Eliza is our Regional Director of Sales and Marketing that supports our health center. And so we are delighted that you were able to join us this morning, and looking forward to your words of wisdom here.
I'm not sure if I have any words of wisdom this morning. I just really wanted to introduce myself. I think the last time I was here, I had full mask on, so y'all probably don't recognize me. I'm not sure what my hair looked like or what my weight was at that point in time. It's really fluctuated over this past year. It's been a little bit crazy, I think, not just for me, but for a lot of people. But I was here to serve wine at one of the events that you all had. So it's really nice to see everybody's faces. It's nice for you all to see my face. It's nice to be back on the road. For those of you who know, I work for Life Care Services. I support the health centers on the sales and marketing side, as well as a couple other departments. I've been in the industry for going on 24 years. Started when I was 10. So it's going on 24 years that I've been in the industry. And I'm just delighted to be back and to be able to support all of you. I think it was a little bit of a rough transition. We transitioned from Brookdale to Life Care Services right at the height of when the pandemic began. And so, we haven't had a whole lot of exposure on the campuses in person. So it's nice to get back, reintroduce ourselves. Not that I haven't always been here supporting, but just to be back in front of everybody, reintroduce ourselves, and get back on the campuses to support all of you. So thank you for having me here today. I appreciate the few minutes that Brant gave me, and I'm gonna turn it back over to Kyle. Thanks.
Thank you. So glad to have Eliza back on the campus and helping her, drive occupancy and sales for our healthcare center. So with that being said, for the first time in over a year, our healthcare occupancy is above 50. So we're climbing in the right direction. I think today we opened up at 51. So we're on the right path, being back to normal, and making sure we can admit our residents and take care of them appropriately. So how we achieve that is we no longer have an observation unit, but we're now cohorting our residents together. So if our residents are vaccinated, they're being putting in a room with someone who's vaccinated as well. And if they're unvaccinated, we do have 4 rooms designated for our unvaccinated residents, so they aren't being cohorted together. So we're on the right path to success. It's good to be back to normal and see that occupancy increase, so we can take care of everyone and be on the right path to recovery. So it's a good thing, and we're heading in the right direction. So
what's the policy for visitors?
So for visitation, currently we have, if you're in a private room, we're allowing indoor visitation. We have compassionate caregivers that are able to come into the building as well. We also have visitations in our courtyards, our dining rooms, our conference rooms that are scheduled to the front desk right now. Yep.
Are you still one person at a time visiting?
No, we've increased the visitation.
So you can have a couple people visit?
Yes, yeah. Anyone else have any questions about the healthcare center? About visitation, guidelines, COVID?
Are there COVID cases?
There was no COVID cases right now. We have no COVID cases, no COVID residents that are positive.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
We have no COVID residents right now.
Week 24.
Yes. So we're doing good things. And, the healthcare team over there has been phenomenal at keeping COVID out of the building with their infection control measures, they've done an amazing job over the past year.
How long has it been since you had a COVID case?
24.
It's been 24 weeks, at least. And that's staff. Residents, it's been, to be honest, I don't remember the last resident that was positive in the building.
Yeah, it's been
Since I've been there, I think, so since January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, they've done a phenomenal job. And so we are still requiring that anyone who's coming into the healthcare center from the hospital, they still have to have a COVID test that's showing that they're negative prior to admission. So that's still required by the state, and we're still requiring that as well.
Great.
All right.
Kyle.
Well, you can just not. You can take me out while you're at it.
Yeah, real quick update. You did get a call last week about a couple of COVID cases over in the skilled nursing center, and you might wonder what that's about. So we did have a couple of people. We're at monthly testing at this point because the positivity rate is so low in the county, and we've gone so many weeks without a new COVID case that we are no longer doing weekly testing. We're only required to do it on a monthly basis. And we did have 2 associates who had test results come back that were positive for COVID, but both of them had been vaccinated. And so anytime you have someone who has already been vaccinated, their ability to spread COVID is very minimal. And it's also very difficult to determine whether those tests were false positives, were they antigens in the body that existed because they had had a prior COVID exposure, or is it the vaccination that is showing some sort of unusual results. But we have judged that not to be a risk for any of our associates, but out of our commitment to be entirely transparent, we did do a notification to all residents across campus. So there is that update as well.
And just so you know, we did have them. We did have them tested again, and with PCR, and then they came back negative. So we're thinking it was a false positive test, which can occur from time to time. So
Perfect. Okay, so handicap access. So I'm going to talk about this for the 3rd time just to make sure that the message is getting out there. Last week we got out ahead of our skis and released something on dining room and handicap access that was not the official policy of Regency Oaks. We recalled it on Tuesday Talk last week, and we also sent out a memo on Friday saying please disregard this. We got out ahead of ourselves, and we're in the process of reviewing that policy, and we'll be issuing an amended and corrected policy on handicap accessibility and how we're going to handle walkers, wheelchairs, and mobility devices in our dining rooms. So I apologize that thing got out before it was fully ready to go forward. It had not been vetted to the degree that it needed to be reviewed. And we will try to do better and make sure that that doesn't happen in the future. You will be able to get a revised policy as soon as we've finished our review and made sure that it's exactly reflective of what the Regency Oaks policy is. So that will happen over the next couple of weeks. Let's talk about hot water in the south building. So Sunday, we lost one of the circulation pumps for the main boiler. Now, it's built in redundancies. There are 3 of them, so that if one of them goes out, we will still have hot water. But one of the, when you lose one of the 3 pumps, although we still have hot water, it does impact how long it takes to get to your apartment. So the status is that you should have hot water, but instead of it being almost instantly available or available within a few seconds, it's now minutes that you may have to wait before you can get hot water. So before you get into the shower, you may have to run it for 3 or 4 minutes so that we get the hot water to the apartment. That circulation pump was shipped out over the weekend, and it should be in Tampa today for an installation tomorrow. and that will get all 3 of the circulating pumps back up to speed, and the south building should, at that point, not have any additional water problems. Now, there may be some pockets of air because when we take that circulation pump off the boiler, it allows air to get into the system, and those air bubbles, because we use a looped system, your hot water is the exact same hot water that goes to your neighbor's apartment. We may have to track down some air bubbles. So if you notice that your faucet, once we do the repairs tomorrow, if you notice that your faucet is gurgling, or you get hot water and then it turns ice cold and then it goes back to hot, it means there's an air bubble in your apartment. All I need you to do is call the front desk. We're really good at figuring out how to resolve that. We can come up and take care of it within just a couple of minutes. But there's no point in doing that until we actually get the repairs done tomorrow. So Thursday and Friday, Darwin and his team fully anticipate having to support residents and making sure that all the air bubbles are completely out of that system. An update on the thermostat in the pool. So the pool has been down for almost, I think it went down Thursday of last week. And what happened is the thermostat that controls the cooling, the humidity, the outdoor air exchange, it's a pretty complex machine, that has just completely shot. It's not salvageable, it needs to be replaced. There are no replacement units, and the manufacturer is not reproducing them and doesn't anticipate that he will have them available for many, many months to come. So we are looking for a solution, and I've got 2 different pool vendors who are troubleshooting this and seeing if we can figure out, is there a way around this where we can just run the air conditioner? Can we hotwire it, not pay any attention to the thermostat, and just get that thing cranked up? And so I've got people who are trying to figure this out, but there's not an immediate solution in sight. Again, it's a manufacturing problem. These things are made in Canada, and the workforce is just not producing them right now. The particular shop where this thing is made, they don't even have the workers scheduled to come back until September. And so we've got to find a workaround, and that's what we're doing. And as soon as I have something figured out, we will share that back with you. The pool is closed right now because it's hot in that pool. It's over 100 degrees. And so it's just not safe. I know you want to swim, and I've had a lot of people come up and say, "Oh, I love the water hot. This is therapeutic." 100 degrees is just not safe. That's too hot. And so the pool is closed. I've heard that we maybe have some folks who have figured out how to sneak in the back door. But please be very careful. There's no one on duty in that pool. The doors are locked. It's just too hot for you to safely swim, and we will get a solution as soon as we can. Lauren asked me to remind you that the hurricane supplies, if you're interested in purchasing hurricane supplies, whether it's the lanterns, the bladders for water, the plastic storable bladders, or the tub stoppers, those are available for sale at the front desk up until Friday of this week. We'll close that down on Friday, place the order, and get those back in your hands within the next couple of weeks. We sell you that at cost. There's no markup. There's no profit margin. You pay what we pay. It's just we offer it as a convenience so that you don't have to run out to Home Depot or Lowe's. We get a little bit better price because we're able to use our commercial account. But if you need any of those hurricane supplies, the sign-up is available at the front desk. And we've already had a pretty good participation. So particularly the stopper, not any stopper will work on any tub. We recommend a very specific stopper, and this is important because in the event of an emergency or an evacuation, your only personal drinking water that you have will be your primary source is your tub. So if you need a stopper, please make sure it's the right one, and it's those big, round, flat plastic, the stoppers that you actually try to insert into the drain, they will not hold. We've tried multiple different versions of that, and the only one that really seems to work is the flat stopper that goes right over the drain hole. Christine asked me to remind everyone there's an estate sale this Thursday, 9 to 12:30, and it's at N413, Nancy 413. And she has lots of incredible trinkets and some furniture and costume jewelry. And so bring your checkbook and
No, she won't touch it.
bring your cash. Okay. And that's this Thursday. Larry's Accessory is over in the South Lobby today from 10:30 to 2. And so he's one of our favorites. He does watch repairs, and it's good to see him back as well. So I also wanted to spend just a few minutes talking about our signature programs. Many of you may have heard that recently we underwent an audit of our signature program. This was this is overseen in the company by E.A. Fettner. Many of you have met Elizabeth Ann. She's been at the community a number of times, has spoken with residents. And EA's primary responsibility in the company is to roll out the signature programs. That is what LCS uses to identify the best and brightest, and it's our what distinguishes us from our competitors. And there are 6 signature programs, and we just recently had our first audit. It's about a year after we had joined the LCS family, and then COVID hit, and so the implementation was maybe not as rapid as we had anticipated, but we had our first annual audit, and we actually did pretty well in terms of implementing and starting up these signature programs. And the first one is our HIPAA compliance and ethics. And HIPAA is a Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. And even though it has a name that doesn't really relate to the protection of personal information, financial or health information, that is still the act that oversees it. We do have a compliance officer in the independent living. That's Jesse. He serves in that capacity and oversees the compliance committee. We also have a HIPAA officer, and that is Lauren Rose. And so on top of the annual audit, we also do a risk assessment on an annual basis, and that's where we try to identify where are the potential risk exposures for your personal information. Is it at the front desk? Is it on our computer screens? Is it at a sign-in booklet? And so we are constantly looking and auditing our operations and looking for opportunities to improve on how we handle your personal, financial, and medical information. And that's an update on our HIPAA compliance. We also have Heartfelt Connections, and the leader of our Heartfelt Connections is Melissa. She's our AL administrator. This is a program that's near and dear to me. Many of you know my wife worked for LCS for 23 years, and she spent her entire career writing and developing the Heartfelt Connection program. So I get to experience it at work and go home and live it at night. And you know, it's funny. I can never distinguish whether my wife is redirecting me because she's my wife and husbands need redirection, or whether she thinks I have early onset dementia and she's providing verbal cueing. I'm never sure. I think the one thing that would surprise people to learn about Regency Oaks is it is true that we do not have an Alzheimer's dementia secured unit. But it is not true that we do not care for Alzheimer's or dementia residents. The vast majority of our assisted living residents have as either a primary or secondary diagnosis, have dementia. And many of our residents that we care for across the campus have some level of dementia. If you're over the age of 85, 50% of the individuals over the age of 85 suffer from some level of dementia. There are over, right now, and counting, this is a growing number, but right now there are over 226 identified different types of dementia. And so it's an evolving field, and we are actively engaged in that. We are also hopeful that in the coming years we're going to see an expansion of our campus, a build out of our skilled nursing, freestanding assisted living, 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, and a conversion of our existing AL to memory care, a secure memory care unit. That was on the docket last year. We have heard nothing to indicate that that is no longer on the docket. And I anticipate sometime this year we're going to get a read on where that stands in the priority list that Peak has put together for this portfolio. EverSafe 360 is, many of you are familiar about that. I've talked about EverSafe numerous times at a Tuesday talk. The one thing that we are getting ready to implement that we're excited about is the Teladoc program. Is not only going to be available over in the skilled nursing, that's where it's going to start, but it also is going to be a service that is available here for independent living. Teladoc is particularly helpful on weekends and after hours, and I know this is a concern that many residents have. Our wellness nurse is here Monday through Friday during business hours, but she's not available in the evening hours or overnight. Teladoc would be something that would, it's a portable iPad with connectivity to a physician that is available 24/7. And so if you had something that you were concerned about, or a change in your medical condition, or you were saying, I'm having a reaction to a medication, I don't know whether to go to a hospital, or whether if I could just talk to a physician, maybe I could get some valuable input and help me make that decision. That's what Teladoc does. You'd be able to go down to the security desk in the middle of the night, arrange for a Teladoc connection. We'd sit you down in front of the screen and let you personally, one-on-one, interact with a physician who would assist you in making those kind of vital health decisions. So that's coming soon, and I'm pretty excited about it because it's going to address a need that we currently do not provide. Just 3 others, I won't go over them today, maybe I'll hit them next week, but the 3 other signature programs are Extraordinary Impressions. You should know a tremendous amount about Extraordinary Impressions. It is one of the 5 objectives that we're working on collectively, residents and management. We also have a safety committee that looks at the campus and tries to identify things that might be potential safety hazards and correct those before they cause an accident. And then CPS is our group purchasing vendor that provides us with higher quality goods and services at more affordable prices, and that works to help keep our rent increases low. So I'll talk more maybe next week on the last 3 vendors. So that concludes everything I had, and I'll open it up for any questions that you might have, and we'll try to field those. Don's going to assist me with a mic.
Thomas. Good morning.
I don't know whether I need the mic or not.
Sure you do.
Do I?
Yes.
Yeah, we won't be able to record you without the mic.
Okay, I don't want to be argumentative with you, but Sunday, I happened to walk through the building and one of your employees said, have I been in swimming here? And I said, no. Is it open? She said, as far as I know. I won't repeat the name. Okay, so I walked by and the back door was open. I had the thermometer, it was 84 degrees in the room. The water was 86 degrees. I went swimming. Greg, the security guard, came by and asked me what I was doing. But didn't seem to be too upset. So my question is, why can't we always use it if it's under 90 degrees in the, and I'd lay you a month's rent bet right now that it'll be under 85 degrees in the pool room.
And so first off, we do have 365 associates, and I am sure that we probably didn't get the word to all 365 associates. So misinformation is not the same thing as correct information, and so I think you were given some misinformation.
It's all due to a cold front, so we've been talking about the drought.
It's like, where's that coming from? So cold fronts. There are days, particularly after we've just had a rain and we've seen the temperature drop 10%, the humidity is lower. There are times during the day where it's probably safe to be in that pool, but there are other times when the temperature is 90, 91 degrees, and the humidity is in the 90s as well. Those are the times where it's not safe to be in that pool. So I wouldn't disagree that we could find times during the day or week where it might be safe to swim, but in a broader concept, there are also times where it's not safe.
Could we do it at your own risk basis?
So
That's one question. The other question is, can we get a ride to the Long Center, which you used to do?
yes, and so I don't think you can do it at your own risk. That's just not safe. I mean, we're doing this because we're concerned about your safety, and we want to make sure that you're not putting yourself at risk. However, going to the Long Center is a great idea, and we will set that up. That is something we did when the pool was being renovated. This looks like this is not a problem that's going to get solved in 2 or 3 days. And so I think that's a great idea of trying to see if we can't hook up a daily swim. Great idea.
And Tom, you can always go over to Glenn and set up the transportation to be able to go over to the pool.
I didn't hear.
Glenn can always set up transportation so that you can go to the pool. Because I know we don't have the largest group that will go over to the Long Center, but regardless if it's 1 person or 15 people, we can take you over to the pool.
All right, what else?
Brian, I gave you some bucks. Did you forget about them?
I did forget about them this morning. So I will try to put that on the agenda for next Tuesday talk. Earl Kerr shared with me some show and tell items that I wanted to present to the group. There are some great ideas. They would be a great addition to your emergency supply. Earl, I apologize, I just plain old forgot. Maybe my wife is right. Maybe it is early onset dementia. But I'll make a note and add that to next week's agenda.
I do have one with me.
Do you want to come up and show it off?
Yeah, just for it.
All right.
Get it out.
Okay, this particular light has a lithium-ion battery in it, so all you have to do is plug it in and charge it up. And it's got 3 different sets on the side here. Don Bryant, if you want to turn that.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay. So basically that's it. And then I gave him 3 pucks that are capable of being put on the wall like this. They'll stick to the wall, and you have a controller just like you do for your TV. I'll show you what it looks like. It's very small like this. If he would have brought those, I would have showed you how to use this. But basically you can buy these from Amazon, and I suggest you look them up, puck lights. This one here is a little more commercial, I would say. You know, like if you wanted something in someplace, like you might be able to use it or you might be able to use it in the pool, that's it. But basically, that's what that is.
What do you do with that one, Earl?
You can do anything you want to with it. You could set it up, it will set up. So you can set it there, or you can hang it. There's a hanger up here.
How long does it last?
Well, it lasts until it goes out. And then you plug it in and you have to recharge it. So if you have access to solar, you would have access to this because this is DC. And it basically can be done through DC, but it's AC right now when you plug it in.
What was the price again?
Gee, I forget now. I bought 3 of them, so it must not have been too expensive. But I'll try to find out, and next time I'll have the name of the people, if it isn't on there now.
Bell and Howell.
Bellenhall. Big Bellenhall. That's all I have to say about it.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, and I promise next week I will not forget the pucks. All right. Thank you. What that celebration was, and it was, we always have done something for our mothers on Mother's Day, but this is the first time in a few years where we had really done something extraordinary for our fathers. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. All right. Anything else?
Joe.
Joe.
Joe always has a good comment for us. Okay, when you go out from the north building out onto Union, you're gonna go off to 19. If you make a right turn, you can get in deep trouble. There's a big hole there,
Yeah, I found that.
which fills up with water, obviously, but anyway, I asked the committee, building and grounds about it, and they've told me that it's the town's responsibility. Well, the town didn't put it there, we put it there. So we should fix it.
I'll get it taken care of. For those, I don't know any of you have seen the asphalt concrete work that was done at the end of the M-Wing. Was it the M-Wing?
I think so.
Yeah, but those guys did a great job, and it was $500-600, and to have them go over there and do that little corner wouldn't cost us anything. So we'll get that taken care of.
The
Thank you.
end wing has a big pothole in it. And I've turned in work orders.
Okay.
So while they're doing, do both.
All right. What else? All right. Well, thank you very much for coming. I appreciate the support. Go and have a great day.